You're a busy professional. You don't have time for fluff. You need strategies that work, and you need them fast. Welcome to Busy Pro Fast Wellness with me, your host, Alan Welsh. We're here to give you science-backed hacks and actionable tips to boost your focus, minimize friction, and maximize your results. Less time, more impact. It's time to get well, stay strong, and thrive. Let's get to it.
Hello and welcome back to Busy Pro Fast Wellness, and today's episode is a little bit different because my guest is someone who's been around since the very beginning and at times holding me accountable. And as I've listened to, I think many of my podcasts, probably almost all of them, since September of 2024. Now, he doesn't just talk about being busy, he genuinely lives it. And we're talking a myriad of things, from online language teaching to exam training and leadership, and writing content for some of the biggest educational publishers in the world. So today we are trying to keep it tight and practical, and we're diving into what actually works when your workload gets intense. A very warm welcome to you, Peter, on this gloriously sunny day here in Valencia. I believe you're in Barcelona, so I hope it's equally as fine there.
Yeah, it's lovely. Great to be on the show. Great to be on the other side of the mic. Great to hear all your episodes, and good to be here as a busy pro that I am.
Yeah, I know we talked briefly just offline, and you were talking about keeping it really tight, those little shorter episodes of 10 to 12 minutes that you love listening to. So I will be putting a few more of those out. So anyway, Peter, as you are clearly busy, what was the point where you thought to yourself, right, this is next level busyness?
Okay, so so I've got like a number of different jobs, as well as being an online teacher. I also, I work for an exam preparation company, and I also train teachers, and I also write for publishers. And I think the busiest period was when it all came together. I was teaching like a full schedule. I had like 24 hours of contact time of teaching preparation. I had my other work. And then I got offered a writing project, which was for a book called English Grammar in Use by Raymond Murphy. Now, if you work in English teaching, so you'll know this book. It's basically
I know all three of them: the blue, the green, and the
it's like the Bible of grammar. So everybody knows Murphy. And anyway, they were developing their digital version, and they needed extra practice activities for the students. So the advanced book had 53 grammar units, and for every unit I had to create like 10 questions before students studied the grammar point, 10 questions after, and they wanted 2 versions of each test. So it was basically over 2,000 advanced grammar questions, as well as my normal work. And on top of that, they wanted it in a digital format so that they could upload it into their digital platform. So I had to follow a rather special formatting system. So yeah, it was pretty intense.
Gosh, yeah. So when you're faced with something like that, where do you even begin to sort through that kind of confusion?
Yeah, so in terms of like productivity, I think I've got like 3 main pieces of advice. I think the first thing is like break things down. I think there's a saying, how do you eat an elephant? Bit by bit. I mean, if you look at like over 2,000 grammar questions advanced, it's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
So what I did was I created like a visual tracking system on paper, and I do like to work on paper because I like to have things next to me that I can actually see rather than some abstract app. So I literally had each square was representing 1 unit, and every time I completed a unit, I shaded in a square, and just that seeing that progress kept me motivated. In fact, so I could even take it my list and show my wife and say, look, this is what I've been doing today. I haven't been like online on YouTube. No, I've actually been working, and this is what I've done. And we could like celebrate those little wins together. And she supported me, which was great.
Oh, that's great.
And
it really is, yeah.
The second thing I think was knowing the why. I think it's important. I think there's books been written on the importance of the why, but actually writing. So on my piece of paper, I had all my grid, but up below it, I wrote down all the reasons why I was doing this work. Like, why am I doing this? Like,
Mm.
travel, helping my family, visiting friends, investing in my future, enjoying life more. So basically, I just stacked a whole list of reasons why, and some little motivational phrases just to keep me going, keep focused. And so I kept my tracker with my all my whys and my little motivational phrases all on the same one A4 sheet, and I just kept that there the whole time, and that just kept me going.
Yeah.
And the third thing was really consistency. There's this idea that you've probably heard of, from the comic Jerry Seinfeld, and
Oh, yeah.
it was called
Great
well, he
fan.
put it, yeah, don't break the chain. Basically, he used to write jokes, and he would try and write one joke each day. So he would like write an X like in every square of the calendar, and the idea was just don't break the chain, just keep it going. So this works for me as well. So just seeing, those little boxes being filled in, it just keeps you going and it keeps you consistent, and you can see your progress and you can celebrate it. So that's sort of how I keep going. Really, I break it down so I can see it. I know why I'm doing it, and I like to track it visually, so that keeps me motivated.
Yeah, no, that's good. Having that visual side as well, and what you've mentioned as well. You mentioned the why, and I think Simon Sinek talks a lot about the why aspect of things, and the consistency. I am very much with you on that. Getting this podcast out once a week, and there have been times I thought, you know what, I could have a week's break, but I know that I'm breaking the chain if I do that. So I've resisted the temptation to do that. So yeah, and Jerry Seinfeld, what a great tip from the
Yeah.
maestro of comedy. For sure, that's really good. So I love all these things. And what about staying focused throughout the day? Because that's when people often fall into that mode of disarray and they become unfocused.
Yeah, I honestly think that the being in a flow state is actually, it's easy to keep in a flow state. Once you're in a flow state, you just keep going. It's like pushing a big boulder. Like once it's moving, you can just keep it moving. But
Oh, yeah.
getting it moving, I mean, that's the challenge. So I think the problem is starting, and also when you have breaks,
Mm,
getting back to the work. It's actually like once you go back and the boulder is not moving again,
yeah.
it takes a lot of effort. So
Yeah, for sure.
there is a technique that I use, which I think is associated with Ernest Hemingway. It's called the Hemingway Bridge. And basically his idea was stop writing before you completely finish something, even if it
Mm,
was in the middle of a sentence. And the idea was, if you're going to take a break, leave the work easy to restart.
mm, yeah.
If you leave work and you know it's going to be difficult, you've got a difficult one, and you know that you've got to come back to it, there is a temptation to like, oh, I'll have another coffee,
Yeah.
I'll go for a walk, and I'll think about things, and you just don't get back. And when you
Yeah.
do get back, there's this boulder that's just got to be pushed, and you don't feel like pushing it. But if you leave yourself, a very easy step, it could be, yeah, if you're writing, it could be the next sentence, or for me, it could have been like an easy question, or it could be in the middle of a section where I know exactly how I'm going to keep going. Then it's much easier to restart after a break or an
Yeah.
interruption. And once you've got the boulder moving, you can keep it moving more easily. And even if you do have a more difficult section, you're in that flow, so you
Yeah.
just keep going.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And something which is definitely worth taking on board because we know what it's like when you come back and you just, you're stuck at that moment. So
Mhm.
leaving it at that midway sentence or midway easy activity seems to make perfect sense. And that you could use that as a when you've got that 5 o'clock dip as well, couldn't you? During the day when you're sort of like, oh gosh, how do I restart at that moment on that? So, um,
Yeah, well, I do. It's funny that you mentioned that. I mean, I do actually suffer from this 5 o'clock tip. I don't know if anyone else does, but
oh
around
yeah,
about 5 o'clock, I always like, wow, I'm a bit tired. I think they call it emotional eating as well. I think I need a reward. And my default used to be, I used to go chocolate. chocolate. I need chocolate or biscuits or chocolate biscuits. Put them
Yeah.
together. So yeah, but unfortunately, the problem with this was then I got like a crash. Like after like all that sugar, I would just like crash. And between like 6 and 8, I get really tired, and it was like I was not productive at all.
Yeah.
So I've actually sort of scrapped. Well, I've learned a little bit from you actually from one of your podcasts, which was about discipline, and it's
Okay.
just about having the discipline that when you notice that moment that you're going to go for the chocolate, do something else. And there's two
Mm.
things that you can do. One is you can grab a glass of water, have a
Mm.
glass of water everywhere, and have them all around, and make sure you grab some water. Another thing I've been looking into is herbal teas. There are certain herbal teas that are good at certain things. Like there are some good that are in the morning, some are good for energy, and some are good for calming. So
Yeah.
my go-to now about 5 o'clock is a rooibos or an apple and cinnamon, or
Sounds
maybe
good.
a fruity tea, and they're caffeine free, so they don't stimulate you, so you can still sleep, but
Mm.
they do help avoid like the energy crash.
Okay.
And it also improves your sleep later, which you often say is hugely important, on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've delved into the whole area of sleep and hydration, of course. And I love the idea of rooibos and cinnamon. These are great flavors to get for those teas. 'Cause I probably don't drink enough tea. I drink loads of water. Coffee is my default, but I go to the decaf after 3 o'clock because
Yeah,
it's my little treat. I think I can't keep on drinking coffee, so I have to start on decaf then. But yeah, I need to
yeah.
drink more herbal teas for sure. I need to get my wife's very much into those, and so occasionally I'll just delve into some of her supply that she's already made. But yeah,
Yeah, it's like each one has its own function. So, you can have obviously the coffee in the morning is like a go-to, but
oh
then
yeah,
after that you can have alternatives. There are some that are good just after dinner, for example, for digestion. There are certain teas that are better, for digestion, and then other ones when you go to bed just to calm down, or
mm,
for breathing, or for sleep.
yeah.
So yeah, the right tea at the right time is a good approach.
Brilliant. I'm going to dive in there because you're talking about all these different sort of fantastic tips and stuff. But I always like to bring something practical in, as you know, having listened to the show.
Yeah.
So before you kind of reach for that chocolate or sugar or whatever or coffee, what I suggest doing, and I do this myself, is just to stand up,
Mhm.
keep tall, and I always talk about making sure that your feet are in line with your hips. Shake out your arms and your shoulders for about 30 seconds. Just keep that on for 30 seconds, of course. Take a deep breath. And then drink a glass of water. And there you have it.
Yeah, good tips. Good
I must
tips.
admit, yeah, I feel I went out for this hike yesterday and I didn't drink enough water, so I don't always practice what I preach. I didn't in the end of it. There was somebody there that was rather slow. I had to go back and get her water, and then we were all giving her our water, and as a result, we sort of got low on our own supply. And you know what, you can really dehydrate. So
Yeah,
throughout the day, that water can really come in handy.
yeah,
So I think that's a theme for today, isn't it? Really, not having any massive changes, just keeping everything really small and intentional, and those decisions that just keep you focused and on track, and the systems, getting those systems in place that you've talked about.
yeah. It's small habits. Small habits, they make a big difference.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like you say, consistency as well. So yeah.
yeah,
Before, I mean, I just want to say thanks to you, because it's basically because of your podcast that I've learned a lot of little practical tips, and I think especially the ones helping me keep it active during the day, because I do spend a lot of time sitting down.
yeah,
So all your little tips of like moving around, and just the variety of opportunity, the options that you give in your podcast
yeah.
really help me. So I'm your definitive audience, because
Thank
I'm a
you. You're
busy
my
pro.
proof of concept
Yes,
for the time.
great.
Yeah. Actually, do you have I normally always finish with a quote, but I think that you might have a quote up your sleeve somewhere there, Peter. So you
Yeah,
can.
well, I thought, I like to keep to the 10 minutes. So hopefully we've done that. But yeah, so here is a quote from it's from Paul Meyer, and he's apparently he's the grandfather of self-improvement. Like we've got the
Oh,
Anthony Robbins and the Brian Tracy's, but it goes back, and it all starts with Paul Meyer. And he said this, he said, productivity is never an accident. It's always the result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, and focused effort.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I love it. I really do. And that's a brilliant. Thank you so much today for coming on the show, Peter, and for sharing your experiences and being very candid about your own life with regard to your systems that you put in place to help you, and paying homage to some of the things that you've obviously gleaned from my podcast as well over the last, getting on for 2 years. It will be in September. So, yeah, that's it. So thank you very much. And that's it for today for everybody. And remember, stay consistent, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next episode of Busy Pro Fast Wellness. Goodbye for now. Goodbye, Peter.
Bye.
Goodbye.
A huge thanks to Peter, an old accountability partner, a friend, and living proof that at least one person has been listening to this podcast. A couple of simple takeaways from today. First, make progress visible. Break the big thing down, track it, tick it off, shade in the boxes, whatever works for you. And when you can see yourself moving forward, consistency becomes easier. And second, make it easy to restart. I love Peter's point about the Hemingway Bridge. Don't always stop when everything is neatly finished. Leave yourself an easy way back in, so you're not pushing that boulder from a standing point every single time. And when that late afternoon slump hits, before reaching for the sugar, stand up, shake out the shoulders, take a breath, and drink some water. Small systems, visible progress, easier restarts. And that feels very Busy Pro Fast Wellness to me. So Peter and I, we aimed for 12 minutes. We didn't quite make it, but I think we can forgive ourselves this time. That's all for today, and I'll see you in the next episode of Busy Pro Fast Wellness. Goodbye for now.